Have you guys ever wondered how a car ended up with the nickname Godzilla? Is it because of its size? Or maybe its demeanor? How it looks? Or is it because it dominates nearly every race that it enters? The Nissan Skyline GTR didn't just become famous because it was fast. It became a legendary staple in the car world because it changed what people thought a Japanese sports car could do. As a mechanic who spent years working on vehicles and learning how engineering decisions affect performance, this car highlights just how important engineering and science are in regards to efficiency and power. And that's what led me to research one of the most iconic performance cars ever built. Now, even if you're not a car enthusiast, you've probably seen a GTR, whether it be in movies like The Fast and the Furious or racing games like Gran Turismo and Need for Speed, or maybe it's on your Instagram reels where you're just scrolling and all of a sudden you hear notes. Well, today I want to explain to you the history behind the Nissan Skyline GTR and how it became a worldwide legend and why it continues to influence performance cars today. So first, let's start where it all began, right? The origins of the Skyline GTR. So in 1957, the Skyline was introduced by Prince Motor Company. And you're going to be like, wait, I thought we were talking about a Nissan. Yes, we are. Nissan acquired this company in 1966. So after a few years of development, Nissan decides, hey, let's enter the motorsport world, right? We want to develop a performance-focused Skyline. So the first real GTR arrived in 1969 as the PGC-10 Skyline GTR. It's often nicknamed the Hakusoka. So it featured a 2.0 liter inline six, producing around 160 horsepower. Guys, it doesn't sound like a big number right now with today's metrics, but back in the day, that was extremely impressive, right? And it showed, right? According to Nissan Heritage, that GTR quickly proved itself by winning over 50 races, establishing Nissan's reputation as a serious competitor in motorsports. Right up there with Ford and Ferrari. We've all heard of them, right? So, while the GTR became extremely successful in Japan, the biggest fame was still decades away, right? So, now let's talk about the actual legend, right? How did it become Godzilla? So, going into it, everything changed in 1989 when Nissan released the R32 Skyline GTR, a car that completely uprooted the performance world, right? So, with the release of this, according to Motor Authority, the R32 featured the famous RB26 DETT, TT standing for twin turbo, by the way. It was a twin turbo inline six engine. So it also featured Nissan's brand new Atessa all-wheel drive system and Super Heika steering. So what is this, you might say? You're just spewing a bunch of words, right? So the all-wheel drive system is a system that allowed all four wheels spinning at the same time, right? And giving power delivery to all four wheels. On top of this, you have the Heika steering system, which allowed the rear wheels to steer along with the front wheels, leading to you having increased grip, increased braking performance in the corners, and handling that a lot of competitors, they simply could not match with their regular rear-wheel drive setups at the time because that's what was fast. So, with this said, the R32 won a whopping 29 consecutive races in the Japanese Touring Car Championship and dominated the Australian touring car racing. So bad that Japanese Japanese and Australian journalists nicknamed it the Godzilla because it completely obliterated the competition. And its success didn't stop there. The GTR went on to become a cultural icon in movies like Fast and Furious and racing games like Gran Turismo, and made a million different appearances in automotive media. So for a lot of people, including myself, the GTR became a dream car that introduced them to Japanese performance culture. And its success eventually led Nissan to create an entirely new generation of GTR, right? The R33, the R34, and then finally the R35. So now let's go into the modern GTR and its legacy. So in 2007, the most recent version of the GTR was released, the R35. So unlike previous models, it no longer carries the Skyline name, but it still carries the same philosophy of combining advanced engineering with incredible performance. So the R35's VR DETT is a twin-turbo V6 producing oh my god, I'm at 6 minutes. All right, just gonna finish it. So the produced supercar performance while costing significantly less than a lot of the European competition. And so they made it one of the best automotive values in the industry. So it also became extremely popular because of how tunable it is, right? You see a lot of GTRs nowadays pushing well over 1,000 horsepower while remaining reliable enough to drive on the street. So even though production ended in 2025, the GTR continues to influence modern performance and still spreads its legacy because of the fact that the standard that Nissan had set it up for success in technology, performance, and value. So in conclusion, today we looked at where the Nissan Skyline began, how it earned its nickname, the Godzilla, through decades of racing success, and how the modern GTR continues to influence the automotive world. So from a small Japanese sedan developed in the 1950s to one of the most respected performance cars ever built, the GTR has surely earned its legendary reputation through innovation, engineering, and competition. Thank you.